Hey guys. Alright, let's go get this light working. Hot spots. Okay, so this is another seed video. This is when I went subatomic with my seeds and my third eye. Okay, so this is how it happened. The time was in my life it happened was probably late 80s, early 90s. I'm listening to Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell, not the goof that's on there now. And I'm listening to it and they're talking about subatomic particles. So I'm like listening to it and I'm thinking, what the hell? Subatomic particles, you know? Is that even real? This is before I'm listening to it as I'm going to bed on the radio, and I question it. I'm like, that ain't real. And they're talking about subspace, like in Star Trek. You can travel with your vehicles in subspace, and Star Trek spaceships are floating in subspace and everything like that. But mostly it's subatomic particles and all that stuff. I doubted it all and fell asleep. Then, I'm laying there, and at some point, I think I had the lamp on, and it was shining in my eyes. Or, it was at lunchtime. No, it wasn't. I don't know what the hell happened, but there was light shining on my eyes. Like the light bulb, when I was laying there falling asleep. I fell asleep and there's light shining on my eyes, and I could see, as the more I relaxed, all of a sudden I could see the light on my eyes, and I could see thousands of little bacteria. They look like blinkers, blinking in and off. And I came to realize that it's bacteria that live on your eyes. And some of the bacteria were dead. So I saw the one dead one that wasn't moving, and all the other ones were. And so I'm looking at it and I'm going, holy shit, that's small. And all of a sudden it went, this is what happened. I don't know, but this is what happened. I know, but I didn't know at the time. I'm looking at like pinpoint dead bacteria. And I'm looking at it and it gets closer. And it got real close, like that, just fucking huge. And I'm looking at it, and there was a single cell in the middle of it, just like the icon. There's an icon I have. I'm putting it on this video. Let's see, that's what I saw, but it was more oblong. Anyway, there's one single cell, and I go, that's a single cell organism, because I learned that in school, right? So I'm looking at it. And I'm like, that's cool. And all of a sudden I went right up to the single cell. Huge. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, holy shit. And then I'm still moving closer. I went right into the single cell, my eyes, what I'm looking at. It went into the single cell, my vision. And I started traveling closer and closer. Then I came to these circles. They were all circling each other, little balls, atoms and fucking neutrons and atoms and things like that. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, holy shit! Now that, I said, now that's real small. I thought that to myself. And I was wide awake. This ain't a dream. I'm laying there watching this, and it's happening. And I'm like, this is like a little solar system. That's what I thought. And then I zoomed in to the big one. I think it was an atom. I zoomed into the atom. And I kept going closer and closer and closer and closer. And I came up to the atom. And went right up to the atom. That's all I could see was the atom. That's how close I was to it. Like right here, like a ball. And I'm looking at it. And I'm like, holy shit, what's going on? And then I'm looking at the atom, And then I went through the atom, into the atom. And I'm just looking at space forever. And then all of a sudden, I kept traveling and traveling and traveling. I'm traveling. And all of a sudden I see something way off in the distance. And it gets closer and closer and closer. And then, as I got closer, I knew this one. I knew it. This was the DNA shit. You know how they wrap around each other and make an X? When they die, they make an X, or they get unwound or something, and they make an X, but if they're wound up tight, it's like has a shape of a candy cane. Just, you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm looking at it, it stops, and I'm looking at it, and it's an X. And I go, that's an unwound DNA thing, DNA strain or whatever. And I'm looking at it, and I'm slowly, it never stopped getting closer, but it slowed down. And I'm just getting bigger. And I'm looking at it, and I'm going, holy shit. And I saw it was made up of millions of little balls. Little tiny, it looked like atoms, but they were all different. And it was made up of, fucking, looked like hundreds, thousands of little balls, all swirling around. And I'm like, holy shit. And then it still get closer. It's still getting closer. And I'm like looking at it, and I got up real close to it where all those balls are all stuck together. All these balls are all stuck together. And all of a sudden I looked at one ball, and it went right up to the DNA ball in my mind, what the hell's going on? I'm looking at the ball, and I'm going, holy shit. And all of a sudden I went real close, totally. I went closer and closer and closer and closer, right up to the ball. And I went, and it came, then I saw, all I seen on the ball of the DNA was stripes, like that. Now the whole ball was made up of stripes, like that. Just lines, line, millions of them, line. And I'm looking at these lines. They were so close together, it looked like an actual solid ball. But these lines that I'm trying to think of, why are there lines? Went right inside of it. And I looked, and there was nothing inside. And I'm like, holy shit, there's nothing in this one. And I stopped traveling. And then I looked up, I moved my head to the left, to where the light was coming in. And the lines weren't lines. They weren't lines. They were lines. But the lines that I saw were made up of balls. Each line went around, way like out in outer space, came back to me, and made a complete circle. Each one of these lines. And the line was a ball. Like a ball. Imagine a ball, and none of them touched. They weren't touching. They were all separate like that. And they went all the way out to the horizon, circled around, and came back. And the next one, the next one, the next one, until the ball was made. And it was just, I looked from the point, just the ball was here, beside me, and it went boom, all the way, as far as you can see. And it circled around, came back, and I turned and I'm looking at these balls, and there's a ball. And these balls, I'm thinking, holy shit, that's cool. That's really cool. And I'm looking at all these balls lined up from horizon to horizon, all the way down and all the way up. And I'm looking at them, and I'm inside this fucking DNA thing. I ain't even thinking now. I'm just like, wow, that's cool. And I'm like, what is that? That's like the skin of a ball, made up of balls. But it's so tiny you think it's a skin. I go, cool, that's a skin of a ball. skin of the DNA ball. And all of a sudden it started, as soon as I acknowledged it's the skin of the DNA ball, but it ain't actually a skin, it's because they were so close together, it looked like a skin. And then I came out, and the balls were there, and I'm on the other side, and then I went, and I'm looking at the ball and the DNA, and then I'm looking at the solar system, and then it was a little more detailed than that when it was a reverse, but faster when I came out of it. And then I'm looking at the bacteria, I'm looking at the single cell, and I'm like, holy shit. I go, what the hell was that? As soon as I said, what the hell was, what kind of dream was that? What the hell was that? I'm laying in my bed. I never did fall asleep. I'm just watching this. And all of a sudden it goes, voice in my head goes, subatomic particle. And I'm like, holy, that scared me more than the goddamn vision. I'm like, holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck. I didn't even know what to do, man. I'm freaking out. And then I'm like, is there a ghost in here? Show me subatomic particles. I didn't know, man. And I'm like, were you the aliens? I didn't know. It was my own spirit. I wanted to see if subatomic particles were real. Well, I just saw one in your own DNA, in my own DNA, in the bacteria. Unbelievable, man. It was fucking unbelievable. Now, that was my way, my spirit, my seeds. Shit. Seeds, spirit, showing me subatomic particles. To me, that was golden to this day. It was beautiful. Beautiful. Never forget it. And that was one cell in a fucking bacteria. Now imagine what you're made out of. Now imagine, this is gonna blow your mind. Now imagine what you're made of, what the Creator made in evolution. The Creator made it, it evolved, it keeps evolving. Jesus confirmed that with me. So that's where I am. The Creator created. What is subatomic? Subatomic space. If these particles, subatomic particles, are floating on subatomic space, can you pass that? I don't know, I didn't go there. But I don't know. But the question is, subatomic space. Well, if these fucking things are subatomic, that make up your DNA, are they floating on subatomic space? Are we subatomic space? Because we're all DNA stuff, all of us. And then, I'm thinking, holy shit, it does exist. Because that's what it said. Then I got to thinking, we're made up of part of DNA, chromosomes and DNA. I don't know what the difference is between a DNA and a chromosome, but I think to myself, we're made up of this stuff. I've seen it, and I changed my life. That's where you changed my life. Because I'm thinking the fucking awesomeness of what I just seen. We don't even care about it. All we want to do is drink, smoke pot, and get laid, and abuse ourselves. And life goes on. Life goes on. That's in a physical. Life goes on, right? But we're made up of this, yet we abuse ourselves to no end. Abuse ourselves. With drugs, heavy hard shit, guns and fighting. You blow up people on in the wars. You're blowing them up, you're shooting them, or we're fighting. And all this is within us. All that fucking majesty, cool creation stuff, evolution of billions of fucking years is in us. And all we want to do is kill ourselves. We have no fucking respect for God. So, when God gives you a fucking answer, or God gives you something, the Creator gives you something and gives you your seeds, you listen to it without fucking question. You don't fucking question it. She's working within you. But stuff like that, just ponder this shit and get the truth out of it if you can. That's what I do. Anyway, guys, blew my mind away. And opened up a billion more questions. And it's good to ponder. I love pondering, I think. And then I fall asleep pondering it and get an answer. Not every time. Sometimes it takes a couple days for the situation to fall into place. But I always get my answer, man. Always. Beautiful. And you know what? It's just the beginning. Just the beginning. The inner exploration of you. You meditating and asking questions, pondering it. And your soul gives you the answer. It showed me subatomic particles in a dead bacteria living on my eyeball. All because the light was shining in my face, coming in my eyes at a certain fucking angle. My seeds, and I looked, and I can see it. I can look, and I can see it. Looks like 10 billion little sparkles. Black away, black away, black away. And you zoom into that, and it's your bacteria on your eyes. Anyway, later, guys. That's cool. Just thought I'd share that experience. And that has to do with your seeds. Because I know my seeds show me that shit. Because I've had 100 experiences. Got some other cool ones coming up. So, stay tuned.